Welcome to the Metal Voice special treat today at Heavy Montreal. The one, the only, the drummer of Voivod, Mr. Away.
Mr. Ça va bien?
Oui, hello. How do you do? I'm great.
All right, so very exciting.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm very excited. I've been a big fan of Voivod since, you guys started off in the first album. The new album, The Wake.
Yeah.
All right, tell me about, the musical direction on The Wake, and it'll be released, and when it will be released.
All right. So The Wake is like more of a prog metal album, similar to Phobos or Dimension Hatros, and with a long story all the way through. It's very intricate, and it's coming out on September 21st, but there are still, of course, the thrash metal elements and the punk side as well. It's different than the last LP, Target Earth. It's similar to Post Society that we released 2 years ago, the EP. It's sort of it's sort of a continuation of Post Society with the new lineup, and if anything. It's sort of with the new lineup. It's sort of a new direction and sort of fusion metal in a way. So we work a lot on the music and the lyrics and all that. So there's a very good chemistry right now with the band.
Yeah. So what is the writing process like? Does it start off with lyrics? Does it start off with an idea, a theme, or does it start off with a drum beat or maybe a guitar riff?
It depends. Most of the times, Chewy, the guitar player, will come with some riffs and it will mutate slowly into a Voivod song. When I add drums and Rocky comes with his bass and all that. So, but Rocky was involved with the writing as well. The bassist, and some parts were influenced by the lyrics and vice versa. I also came up with a couple of drum beats, like the song "Always Moving," so it's a mixture of everybody's idea, but the main writer is Chewy for sure.
So I mean, I guess my question, like, we all love Piggy, right? Yeah. He was like probably one of the most underrated guitarist ever, I think. What does Chewy bring to Voivod that, I'm not saying what Piggy didn't, but what does he bring to the band, especially to this album?
I mean, I can still hear the Voivod signature and Piggy's chords in Chewy's style, but Piggy was a bit more old school, Motorhead and such. Chewy is more of a newer school with Meshuggah, and he was also of course part of Martyr and even Gorguts, and he played with Cryptopsy, and so it's a new edge. But what I really like is more of his jazzy style in a way. It's not jazz, but it makes me play differently, and so he brings a lot to the new style of Voivod. Yeah.
And okay, so new bassist again, right? I mean, you had Jason Newsted, of course, Blackie. I mean, it's Rocky, right? I don't know how you come up with these names. How does it happen? Like, you look like Rocky, or you look like a Chewy. Okay, tell me how Chewy, I want to get into this. How does the name Chewy come about? Chewbacca? What?
Yeah, Chewbacca. Chewy's a big fan of Star Wars and Chewbacca. So, and Rocky, well, his name is Dominique Laroche, and he already, in Quebec, he plays with many artists in Quebec, and he already had the nickname Rock.
And the translation, Laroche, is The Rock.
Yeah, The Rock. So his nickname in the musical scene in Quebec is Rock. So we just went, you have to be Rocky, and he said, sure. And so there we go.
and okay, and going, I don't remember this, but Snake. Huh? Where did his name come from?
It's when we started the band, he was in an improv theater troupe, and he had to imitate a worm. And he crawled like a snake, and he got a standing ovation. He didn't even say a word, and we thought we have to call him Snake. And he was also, back then, he was also very skinny.
What about yourself? Away. I mean, okay, it could mean a lot of things, right?
Yeah, well, it's mainly because of my drawings and concepts and all that. But it's also because when we started, I was studying science at university, and I couldn't really cope with the rehearsal schedule and the homework and all that. And quite often I wouldn't show at rehearsal, and they called me away because of that as well.
Okay. You got like a very unique Rush-like drumming style. Is Neil Peart one of your top?
Drummers? Yeah. Neil Peart, Terry Bozzio. They are idols of mine. From Bill Bruford from Yes, and Terry Bozzio from Zappa is my favorite. When we toured with Rush in 1990, I spent a lot of time studying Neil Peart from beside the stage.
So what was it? I didn't know that. I remember. I forgot about this completely. What was it like touring with Rush? What do you remember from those days?
I remember that when we played Astronomy Domain from Pink Floyd, the crowd was louder than the music, and it was quite a relief because I had seen people get booed off the stage opening for Rush before, so it's really hard to open for Rush. So it's quite a relief. Yeah.
Speaking of Astronomy Domain, right? A Pink Floyd cover. It was probably one of the biggest songs you had, accessibility, commercial songs. Yeah. Was it difficult to acquire the rights to perform that song on an album? Because Pink Floyd doesn't give away their songs that easy, right?
It actually, through MCA, we were able to reach out to David Gilmour, and he had to approve the version, and he did. And we sort of had to explain that because we were fans of Syd Barrett, we wanted to do a song from the first Pink Floyd album, but because Piggy was a fan of David Gilmour, we did the version on Umaguma, the live version, and so we had to sort of explain that. But he stamped it, and it became a heavy rotation on MTV and helped us a lot.
Much music too.
We ended up touring with Soundgarden, Fit No More, Rush, and so it's good time.
I would say that Pink Floyd cover is better than the original, and I'm sure we're going to be modest here. I'm sure you've heard that too, right?
Yeah. Many people say that, but in my head, I don't know if it's logical to say that. So it's a tough one.
All right, what can we expect in regards to? I'm going off. You gotta understand. Like, I've been following you guys for a very long time, so I got so many questions, and when we start jumping to question, I don't know what the hell I'm doing anymore. Tell me about the tour. So you're gonna release September 21 is the new album, right? Is there a big tour plan? Do you have a tour package going on? What's going to happen?
What's going to happen is, before the album comes out, we are playing festivals. We have another one in Lévis Festival, and then we have, that's August 4th, we have a Psycho Fest in Vegas, which is fantastic, at the Hard Rock Casino, August 18. Then early September we're gonna do a long European tour, but it's mainly next year. We have a lot of work planned next year, like worldwide tour for a year and a half or 2 years. We're gonna be touring a new album.
Do you think the band is bigger today than it was in the 80s, 90s, from the 80s, from you guys start, let's say Nothing Face? Is the band bigger today than the Nothing Face years? Globally now?
It's definitely very well established. It's hard to tell, but for sure the band is bigger now than when we reformed for the first edition of Heavy Montreal 10 years ago. We gained in popularity, but so did thrash metal though. Yeah.
It's true. This bass player thing, this rotating bass players. I love Blackie, I love Jason. Rocky sounds great so far from what I've heard. What happened with Blackie? What was like he's a great player, to me as a fan, what happened? He's in, he's out, he's in, he's out,
it's a different way of seeing the business, where he wanted to be more DIY, which we respect a lot, but the rest of the band didn't want to, and so that's we had to respect his decision, and so he has a project now.
Are you still friends? Are you still remain friends?
I'm not in touch with him, but I see what he's up to sometimes online.
Cool.
Landscape of Emergency, I think it's called, and it's actually pretty good. It sounds like a soundtrack of a sci-fi movie, or it's bass with effects and
okay,
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
And I remember when you guys, hooked up with Jason Newsted. To me, it was like, I know that you guys are still probably friends, right?
Yeah.
Jason, I mean, when you first joined the band, like, how did he? I know he was a fan of the band. He joins Voivod for the album, right? I mean, how did that all come about, like, quickly?
He first came to see us in San Francisco in the 80s, and we kept in touch. And from the end of the 80s to the end of the, let's say between 89 and 99, we went to his studio in San Francisco many times, Snake, Piggy, and I. We did some projects together at his studio, and when we reformed with Snake in 2001, we thought it'd be a great idea to phone him, but it was meant to be. He was just meant to play on the album as a guest, but he loved it so much, he ended up joining the band, which was great. And at the same time, he joined Ozzy, so it was a lot of work for him since we were opening for Ozzy. So the whole year 2003, he played with us. And then jumped on stage with Ozzy right after for almost the whole summer. The whole Ozfest, and then all across Canada with Ozzy, we opened for Ozzy. So he was doing a lot of double duty back then as a warrior, that guy.
Yeah, and I mean, and then it kind of like, he just sort of like disappeared. Like, I mean, I guess he just, other commitments?
I think, when Piggy passed away in 2005, we were like, we really wanted to finish the two albums we had started in 2004 with Jason, Infini, 14, and so we were on a mission to finish these recordings. As far as restarting the band, he had such a musical connection to Piggy that he didn't see it, but when we play San Francisco or when we cross path, like at Hellfest, or he jumps on stage with us to play Voivod.
Yeah, so you guys, I can see there's still a connection there. Yeah. Okay, your favorite Voivod album and why?
Probably Killing Technology.
Really?
Yeah, it has all the ingredients of what Voivod is supposed to be, some futuristic punk metal mixed with psychedelic and prog music, but it's also an exciting era for me if I think about it, And aside from that, I'm really, really proud of the very first album and the very last album, the future album, actually, The Wake. And
Terry Brown on Angel Rat. I mean, it's the Rush producer, the famed Rush producer, Terry Brown. What was it like working with Terry Brown?
He's very chill, very easy to work with. I learned a lot from him, and we just for Angel Rat wanted more of a psychedelic approach and a prog approach, and it was the right choice for sure.
Yeah, I always wanted to ask Snake this question. Maybe you could answer it for me. How does he write his vocal melodies on your playing? I mean, you guys are going off on different time signatures. I mean, he must be scratching his head, saying, "Okay, guys, what am I going to do here?" I mean, what does he do?
Well, I asked him before, like, how can you find melodies on top of like tritonic chords, and he says that he still needs a root note from the bass to figure out. Otherwise, the chords are super weird. But he has the ability to write very catchy material on top of strange chords. Yeah.
All right. Anyways, that's my guest, the one and only Michel. Thank you very much for being on the show. Thank you. And September 21st?
Yeah, The Wake, September. Yeah, and also we'll have a 7-inch coming out as well right before for the Euro tour in early September, end of August or something. Yeah.